Hey everybody, welcome back to Why Not RV. On this week's episode, we're going to be talking about trailer tires. Be sure to hit the subscribe button if you want to learn more and make less mistakes while RVing. Check us out online at whynotrvusa.com. We're also now on Patreon at patreon.com/whynotrv. And we have an amazing Facebook group that is growing very, very quickly. So come join us on Facebook. It's just Why Not RV under Facebook groups. But I'm going to put a link in the description below for all those websites. All right, so we're joined here today with Chris from WTI Tires here in Largo, Florida. He's been my go-to tire guy for several years for cars and trucks, and now with the RV and the trailer tires. He is a wealth of knowledge, so I wanted to get his opinion on a few things. So we're going to get started talking about it. So how you doing today, Chris?
Good morning. Good, doing well.
Good. All right, so one of the first things that I want to talk about today is the weight or speed rating of tires, because as a consumer, I've always been told, you have, for example, on my fifth wheel, originally there was low range E tires, which are good for X amount of weight and, X amount of speed. And what happened was I had the tire blowout immediately, and I felt that I wanted to upgrade tires. So I came to you, and we got some G-rated tires, which were a little overkill for my trailer, but now I feel much safer because of the weight rating for those tires. So what's really, what do people need to look out for when it comes to the load rating and speed rating on truck or trailer tires?
With the trailer tires, the load range E is rated, we have some stats here, at 3,420 pounds per tire. That's on a single axle. So dual meaning two tires side by side. Single axle would obviously, you could have multiple axles in there. But so where a 14 ply is 3,520 pounds. Then when you buy the camper, the fifth wheel, you got to look at the weight of the fifth wheel, how much you're going to put in it, and what's your total weight. The 10 ply is going to make it right trailer, or tow very smoothly. The 14 ply will take more weight. It'll handle more, it'll take more abuse on the road. It may not tow as nice, but you're not in the fifth wheel,
Right.
So we want to make sure that we're not going overboard and we're beating up the fifth wheel with the stiffness of the tire. But the 14 ply will definitely handle these bigger fifth wheels much better. Quite a few come in and change them,
Right.
Because the 10 plies, trailer tires don't turn, they skid as they turn. And the 10 plies seem to be getting some sidewall damage from being overloaded. So your 14 plies, even your 12 plies will give you more weight.
So as you're going up in ply rating, does that apply to the sidewall and the main tread, or where are the plies really?
The ply rating is going to be in the tread, but you'll really notice it in the sidewall.
Okay.
The sidewall will be thicker, it'll be stiffer, it'll handle more. So that takes all the rolling of the sidewall out of the equation.
Okay, so now I did kind of notice that in our RV now with the new 14 ply tires that are on there, putting them up to the max cold pressure, it definitely was a little more bouncy, and you could see the RV moving a lot more, whereas before it seemed a little bit softer on those E-rated tires.
Exactly, you went from 80 to 105 PSI.
Right.
Now you can lower that 105 a little bit. I wouldn't go too crazy, because then the tire will get damaged from being overheated. You want the tire to dissipate the heat.
Right. Now, and so talking about dissipating heat and tire pressures, because that's another big, in my opinion, a big reason why tires fail so much is because people can't dissipate the heat properly, because they either underinflated them, overinflated them, have something else going on in the tire that they don't know about. So what's your opinion on a TPMS system for RVs?
I think they're great.
Definitely.
So yeah, TPMS, great, because nobody ever checks trailer tires.
Right.
But if you're looking at it on the dash, it's an awesome idea.
Right. Now what about there's a big debate online of using ST tires, which are special trailer tires, or LT tires, which are meant for light trucks. What's your opinion on using an LT tire on a trailer?
Absolutely not. LT is light truck. It's a truck tire. It's meant to be on pickups, vans, whatever. Trailer tires are designed for trailers. And here's what happens. Trailers, when they turn, the wheels don't turn. They drag.
Right.
Light truck tires will chunk out. They're not designed to handle that. A standard ST, which is standard trailer, is designed to handle that abuse.
All right, so the next thing I want to talk about is brand name versus off-brand, because a lot of people call a lot of the tires that come on RVs China bombs because they come from overseas and they have blowouts all the time. I don't think it's that tire's particular fault. I think it comes down to a load rating issue or something like that. Versus name brand, a lot of people love the Goodyear Endurance. That's like the #1 tire I always see online, and I've never used them. I have no personal preference to them. So what's your take on that?
The tires are a personal preference, just like you say. If the tire's taken care of, it really doesn't matter what you put on there. If you're going to watch the air pressure, and trailers don't get pulled down the road every day. Not everybody's like you. Some of these things will sit in your yard for 6-8 months at a time, and we'll get a dry rot issue. Quite often we hear about the tire exploded for no reason, or this happened or that. Tire failure is caused by a couple reasons. There's a good chance you hit something in the road and don't know it, so it doesn't matter where the tire's made. You run something over it, the tire's going to fail. The other thing is tires aren't checked for air pressure. When we take our company vehicles and our company trailers out, we check every day our air pressure. So campers and trailers are the same way. Very few people put the time into checking all 4 of them or all 6 of them, whatever's under there. And a lot of these cases are 80 PSI tires, and we find that people don't have gauges go that high. Mostly, and I know we do it here, if a customer comes in and asks, we'll give them one. We've got some pretty good size ones, so you probably have a local store will give you a nice tire gauge. But tire failure and tire brand is really a personal preference. We sell private labels, we sell major labels, and we don't have issues either way because we educate the customer on taking care of the air pressure. Running tires low overheats them, and it'll cause sidewall failure. So when you hear tire exploded for no reason, or this happened or that happened because it's this manufacturer, that's not the case. Tires wouldn't be out on the road if they could explode. So personal preference, that's what it is.
So 9 times out of 10, a tire failure is going to be because of technically negligence on the owner's behalf, whether they didn't check the tread properly, didn't check for dry rot properly, didn't check the tire pressure properly.
That's correct. Tires don't explode. So we tell the customers all the time, they'll say, come in and say something to the effect, well, this tire exploded for no reason. I can assure you there's a reason, whether it be low air pressure or dry rot. We live in Florida here. I'm not sure where your viewers are going to see this, but dry rot's a big issue here, especially with trailers and campers.
Yeah, so, a lot of people, their trailers end up sitting. I think there's a statistic of like 9 out of 10 RVs, which are motorhomes, trailers, etc.
Right.
9 out of 10 of them are used for, I think it's like 7 days out of the entire year.
Exactly.
So they sit a lot for a lot of people. So when you're buying if someone's going to go buy an RV, whether it's used or new, tires to me seems like one of the most important things to either look into or address immediately. Whether it's like, okay, well, the tire's old and dry rotted, it's a E-range tire anyways. I'll still buy the trailer, maybe I can get some money off because of it.
Right.
But let's immediately get into maybe an F series or G series tire and get something new on it.
Exactly, and check the date. There's a DOT number on the tire, and it may not be on the outside every time. There's a short DOT and a long DOT. The last 4 digits of that DOT number on the tire are the week and the year it was built. For example, you had 0120 be the first week of 2020. You want to stay away from trailer tires if they're 3, 4, 5, 6 years old. Especially down here, they're going to be dry rot.
Right, so if they were stored somewhere where the sun's just beating down on them, 3 years might be all you get. But if they were stored inside, you could get 5, 6 years out of tires if they're properly taken care of.
I would still be concerned, but yes, you're right. Yeah. I would still be concerned with the date here in Florida.
Yeah.
Northern states, where it's not as hot as us, you'd be fine. Okay. But always check the date.
So this tire has some dry rot. Now for me, when I first look at this, I look at the sidewall and it doesn't look that bad. So where are we seeing the dry rot?
Now look up in here. You can see it's actually split. The tire's actually split. What we do, and if you look along this edge here, as I push on it, you see the crack along this edge? You can actually see it where it's cracked open.
Oh yeah.
So when, obviously you can't do this on a trailer, but this is what we look for when it comes into the shop. Is this tire safe as a used tire? Probably not. Would I want to put it on my trailer? Probably not. Again, this is signs of failure here. Now the tire is still holding here, don't get me wrong, but this is where the problems come in.
Gotcha.
Is when you get things that are old and dry rotted. The DOT we discussed, I'm going to see if I can show it to you here. The DOTs are right here. It says right on there, DOT. And here's the date 1370. So that's the 13th week of 2017.
Right.
So
So,
we know-
late March, early April, in
Right.
2017.
Right. So we know this tire's 4 years old. It's used, you know. So these tires have all been taken off yesterday for some reason or another. I wish I had more trailer tires here to show you, but this is a good example. Now here's a fairly new trailer tire that we've done a repair on.
Okay.
One of our local companies. You can see how deep the tread is. We probably got 10-30 seconds
Yeah.
of tread.
I would almost say this tire's, pretty darn new.
This tire is very new. This is one of our local fleet companies, and they bring it in, and what we do is we patch them from the inside.
Okay.
Never put a plug in it. A plug is considered an improper repair and will cause damage to the tire. So, but they bring them in, we patch them. These are tires been brought in for replacement, and as you can see, they're wore right down in the middle.
Well, I can see here that it kind of concaves in a little
Right.
bit, and this has obviously been deflated. So what causes that, where the tread is so worn on basically just the center, not so much on the edges?
This was an overinflated tire.
Okay, so overinflation.
It was actually running this way. It was wearing on the center of the tire. And again, trailers are kind of unusual, especially companies. They don't check them every day. So we get a lot of this, or we'll see it the other way where they've been underinflated and it's eating the outside edges.
Right.
And actually caused a lot of heat damage to them.
Right.
So I wish, again, we had some more in here, but it's earlier in the day.
So proper inflation and keeping them nice and flat across is
Right.
kind of the most important thing.
Right. Even though this is an older tire, this was maintained real well. This is a car tire that somebody really took care of. A lot of miles, but 4-year-old tire. We took them off just for the fact that they were taking a trip and they were starting to dry rot.
Right.
So, but we do it, and you see it in a lot of things. You see the dry rot in these truck tires, car tires, but trailers are really, really pronounced here. I'm sorry, I'm getting out of your frame. But trailer tires, again, sit. Whether it's our trailer outside, a 4x8, your fifth wheel, you're right. They don't tow them every day. If you took them out and took them for a drive once a week, you'd probably get a whole lot more mileage out of your tires.
Really?
Yeah, just keep them pliable.
Yeah.
But they do, whether they sit inside here in the heat, they sit out in the sun. It's obviously worse in the sun. But we do have a lot of guys with motorhomes and fifth wheels that store them inside, and they don't get that much damage as the outside ones.
Right.
So yep, air pressure. That would be my suggestion: is air pressure on everything, and keep them moving.
So at the end of the day, it seems like the most important thing when we're talking about tires is air pressure.
Yes, air pressure definitely.
So
Air pressure is always the key. If you check them every time you go out.
yeah. So either a good TPMS system where you're constantly monitoring it,
Right.
or you're checking your tires every single day you're driving.
It's exactly. Every single time you go out, check the air pressure.
Yeah.
They do make air gauges. I know the inners, if you got dualies, are hard to get to.
Yes.
But if you get with your local tire stores, they will check those tires for free. We do it all day long. We have fifth wheels come in here, motorhomes come in here. We don't work on motorhomes anymore. We've kind of gotten away from that, but we'll do the wheels when they bring them in. But they bring them in all the time. We stop what we're doing. We make sure everything's got the required air, whether it's 80 or 65, before they hit the road.
Right. And when you say required, you're talking like the standard max cold PSI is
Max
what you
cold
should
air
be putting
pressure
your,
is what we put in there.
Yeah.
I know these campers, the motorhomes. The motorhomes call for a certain pressure up front, certain pressure in the rears. A lot of the customers like to have the max cold all the way around. It is optional. You can set the fronts and the rears the way the manufacturer has it listed. We have our customers tend to want the max cold air for the better wear.
Yeah. And I've heard some people, depending on how much a trailer is weighed down or a motorhome is weighed down, they adjust the pressure based off of that.
That is correct. Yep. They will adjust the max cold, by the weight they're putting in there.
Yeah. So always start max cold, and you can make some minor adjustments from there, but you don't want to do too much.
Right. You want it comfortable for you driving, but you want it safe.
Right.
And the manufacturer of the motorhome will tell you how far you can go down. They'll tell you if you can do 65 in the fronts or 70 in the fronts or what they are. But again, when you're talking the fifth wheel, though, watch the air pressure.
Gotcha.
You can go max cold on there. It's going to be the best thing for the tire.
Perfect. Here on our left, we have a 14 ply, and on the right, a 10 ply. And these are actually the same size tire, but just look at the difference in the tread and how thick this tire is in comparison to the 10 ply. And this is what's on my fifth wheel now, and it has been great for me so far, but that is a thick and strong rubber. I mean, it just feels like steel. I mean, in comparison, this feels much softer just from squeezing it. Major difference here. That's pretty much it for this week's episode. I appreciate you guys watching. If you have questions, please drop them in the comments below. I'll make sure I can try and get them over to Chris. If there's something that I don't know off the top of my head or I can't research myself, he will probably answer them. He's a great guy, and if you are ever in Pinellas County, this is the place to come. WTI Tire in Largo. But again, thanks for watching. We'll see you next time. Bye.